Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. If you can hear me, can you please type a yes in the chat window? Okay, great. Ankush, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. I can hear you as well. All right. So, first of all, a very welcome to all of you. In today's session, we will be talking about, like how you can, what you can do to enhance your chances of getting into an analytics, data science, and AI ML kind of career. It can be while applying to universities, or it can be, maybe you have already gotten admit. So now you need to be ready to ace those internship interviews, to ace those job interviews. What can you do to improve your chances? So that's what this entire session is all about. The structure of the session is that first we would like to give the information that we want to give, and after that there will be a Q&A session. So while we are speaking, so I would request people not to type their questions in the chat window. We will not be able to address them, right? So once we are done, so we hope to finish up the information in about 40 minutes, and then we'll have time for Q&A, right? So for the time being, please hold on to your questions. A little bit about Jamboree. I noticed that majority of you are not from Jamboree. So we are in this industry since 1993. We train students on exams such as GMAT, GRE, TOEFL, IELTS, exams that you need to study abroad. And then we help students apply to universities which accept these scores, right? So we have 39 physical centers in 22 cities across 4 countries, and we have been teaching online since 2012. So since March 2020, that is for more than a year now, our students have been taking these exams online. They have been studying with us online and taking these exams online. Some of you would know that GMAT, GRE, TOEFL, these three exams you can take from your home also. So you don't have to worry about test centers getting closed, etc., etc. So a lot of students, they have been taking these exams in the last 8 9 months, and now applying abroad because the rest of the world is opening up. Be it Canada, US, they are all opening up. Campuses are opening up. The students who will be starting their program in the fall of 2021. That means August, September of this year. So they will be joining the universities, right? So that's what we do. Some data points that we are extremely proud of. More than 25% of our students score 700 or more on the GMAT, and more than 20% of our students score 320 or more on the GRE. Some of you may have taken these exams, or some of you may be planning to take these exams. So whatever, for those of you, just keep in mind these scores. They are supposed to be, they're quite decent scores. You then stand a fighting chance of getting admission. However, these are not the only admissions criteria, so that's what you should be aware of. So if you want to apply for a master's in computer science program, or let's say a master's in data science kind of program, then yes, the GRE or GMAT score is one of the criteria. The TOEFL exams, again, these are the standardized tests. These are just one of the criteria. There are other criteria as well. Your college academics, how you have been doing in a college, right? Your extracurricular activities, especially if you are looking at management kind of career. If you are thinking of applying for MBA, MIM kind of program, then your extracurricular activities are very important. For those of you who are looking for master's programs, MS and PhD programs, the research work component becomes very important. So just because you say that you want to apply for MS in analytics or MS in data science, no, it doesn't mean that your profile is good enough. You have to showcase, you have to present it to the university that you have enough background. So for that, you should have some projects in hand, right? So that's what, so we will be, will be helping you with, how, what kind of projects you should have, how to present them in your SOP. SOP stands for statements of purpose. So how to present those, right? Now, for those of you who have gotten admission, maybe you are from an engineering background or maybe from a commerce background also, but you have gotten admission for MBA in analytics or masters in data science kind of programs. Even then, when you enter the university, you are expected to have a certain level of competency in these domains, right? And from the right after your first semester, you will have to start looking for internships. And when you interview with companies, for internships, they expect you to have, some specific knowledge about some specific domains, within these fields also. So it helps, if you do that background, if you do that background studying, if you do a couple of mock interviews with industry experts, right from now onwards, so that you then have a very good chance of landing good internships, good jobs, or even good admits, right? And that's what we'll be targeting. As I said, I noticed that a lot of you are not Jamboree students. So we will be happy to give you a demo class if you want to see how we teach GRE or how we teach GMAT, why our students get such high scores. So we will be happy to give you a free demo class, and we will also be happy to do a profile evaluation session for you. Profile evaluation session means, we can speak to you to understand your eligibility. Are you even eligible to apply for the kind of program that you are looking for? What are the courses that you have studied till now? If you are looking specifically for scholarships, and a lot of students, they want scholarships, so we will be able to assess your profile and let you know what your chances are. Or if we feel that your profile currently is not good enough, then what you can do to make your profile worthy enough for an admission offer or for a scholarship offer, right? So we'll be happy to do either a demo class for you or a free profile evaluation session for you. If you are interested, do leave your phone number in the chat. You don't have to give your names. I can already see your names. Just if you leave your numbers, that should be more than enough. So I'll pause here for a moment to let you complete your typing. By the way, this meeting is getting recorded, and we will be putting the recording up on our YouTube channel, right? So you can, right now, you can just sit back, relax, and listen to the information. You don't have to take detailed notes. The recording will be made available, and we will also be sending a copy of the recording, the email ID which you registered, which you used to register for this session. Okay, those of you who are still typing your numbers, please expedite. So we work with college students a lot. Students who are currently studying, or students who have just started their careers, right? And so that, to help them build their profile, to make sure that they have the profile necessary to get admission. And for things like those, we have different partners that we work with. So Coding Ninjas is one of such one partner. So if anybody is looking specifically, for computer science, data science, analytics, AI/ML kind of career, so Ninjas have a really great, portfolio of products. They work specifically with us to build to, and there are programs specifically designed for Jamboree students. To talk more about them, and like to guide you about what you can do if you're looking for a career in those domains, I have with me today Ankush. Ankush, are you there?
Yes, yes, yes,
Hi, Ankush. So, Ankush, it's over to you. I would first request you to give us a little insight about your company and do tell us a little bit about yourself. Everyone, please listen up. Ankush is a really, he has been in your shoes. He has walked that path and he has also studied abroad. So, Ankush, please share your experience with us. And over to you.
Thank you, Asma. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Really happy to be here, and I hope everybody is able to see me. Right. So, as Osma said, we will answer all your questions, as many as you have. We'll try to take them later part, towards the later part of the session. But I think we will. I'll try to give you more time than just 15-20 minutes at the end, right? So, so first of all, I think I'll maybe start with introduction to myself rather than the company. So, as Osmo said, I have been a candidate like you guys. I did apply for masters post doing a BTech in computer science. I did the BTech in computer science from IT Delhi, and I did work for a year before I sort of applied for masters. So I was working at Amazon as a software engineer, and so it was, I would say, a little weird time in the sense that it was 2009, and the world was going through sort of like a recession, and we applied. Like I applied at that time, didn't apply to a lot of universities. Applied to only I think 5 or 6 universities where I felt like I really would want to go. Luckily, I got into Stanford for MS in CS. So I did go to Stanford, studied there for 1.5 to 2 years for my masters, and then sort of worked for a couple of years in the US at Facebook as a software engineer before I sort of moved back to India and started my journey of being a founder and basically trying to build a education company. So Coding Ninjas is what I've been working on from last 5 years. Uh, the idea of the company is very simple. I believe that we need to whatever we need to do as a software engineer in the industry. Our colleges are not doing that good a job in terms of getting us prepared practically to learn up to the limit, up to the levels which the industry requires us to do. And we want to fulfill that gap, and that's something that we have been doing for the last 5 years. We have taught more than 50,000 students over the last 5 years, and we've trained them to sort of join amazing startups, amazing large companies, like people joining Amazon, people joining Google, right? Like, so all sort of companies we have been able to get people into. But honestly, the agenda for this webinar and like why I wanted to sort of spend some time talking to you guys was that uh, I think like it's very tricky situation when you are sort of applying for, especially when you're applying for masters. What happens is that you sort of land into a foreign land, right? Like you reach a foreign land and there's too many things happening, right? Like you're getting adjusted to this new university, getting adjusted to your curriculum, and on the other hand, you're sort of like just moving out of your country, right? Like so that sort of mental pressure is also there. And then like within 2 3 4 months you have to start applying for internships are extremely important because once you get a good internship that almost means that you will be able to get a good job as well, right? So that's something that I feel that a lot of people struggle with because they are not mentally prepared. They don't understand what the companies are going to ask, what are the things that the companies are going to look at, right? How to basically sort of prepare yourself to before you actually leave. I think is the right time when you should prepare yourself so that once you land, you can sort of worry about your college, your university, right? Like your courses that you're doing there, getting adjusted to that sort of environment and the culture. Because in any case, like if you have to prepare, do all of this and prepare for internship for in the next 3 4 months, it's going to be extremely it's going to be a big struggle, right? So I personally felt that, and I would love to sort of just wanted to talk to you guys and make you understand like what all it requires for us to grab these amazing internships. So that is one part. That is just from the part perspective of when you actually go there, right? Like even from the also another perspective that I want to talk about is when you are still applying. even at that point, I think it's extremely important for us to work on these skills, which allow us to have these amazing projects on our profile, right? That you can write about in your SOP, that you can showcase in your profile. That's really going to set you apart from like thousands and thousands of people who are sort of applying with a similar sort of profile, right? These are sort of 2 points that I specifically want to talk about: how we can build an amazing profile that will help us land amazing admits, uh, and along with that, why it is important, what skills are important that you should acquire before you actually go for your studies, to make sure that once you reach there, uh, you are able to get internships. And once you get those internships, I'm telling you, overall things get very settled, because you get the internship. A lot of people end up getting PPOs, pre-placement offers from those internships. And even if you don't get that, when you apply for jobs, just because you have that internship, your resume is far better without that internship, right? So your chances of actually getting a job becomes far better. And I think, especially when you're going in STEM, you get like almost, I think, close to 3 years. When I was there, we used to get 27 months. Right now, you will get like, I think, close to 3 years. When you like that, basically means you'll have 3 and 4 chances to sort of get a H1B, right? So this just means that uh, you will have just far more time, and you get the right job, and you can start just getting your work done, right? So I think overall life becomes easier. Perfect. So let's talk about the first point first. That is, when you are applying, right? What sort of skills you should focus on? What sort of work you should do that will potentially help you in your overall profile and your admits, right? So, see, obviously it depends upon the sort of field you're applying in. If you're applying in data science, machine learning, it's better if you have projects in data science, machine learning as well, right? Like, because saying that I want to do this, or saying that, hey, I have done all of these things, but for me to reach the next level, I need your help, right? It's far better to being able to say the second thing, where you are sort of saying that, hey, I have put in a lot of effort myself as well, I've learned a lot, I've built these projects, but now for me to actually grow, I think you guys will be the right team, right university to sort of teach me to actually get there in terms of my skills. And I think that story is just far better. So, and sadly, majority of the people who are applying do not have that story to tell. I think that's a good opportunity as well, in the sense that if you do it, that means that it'll set you apart, and your chances of getting admits will be far, far better, right? As Osmo said, like GRE score, IELTS score, TOEFL score, or like all these scores are extremely important. But along with that, your profile is something that's going to matter a lot. And sadly, like most of the majority of the people applying from India have similar sort of profile, right? Like we might have worked at some sort of IT company for 1 or 2 years, or we might be coming out of college, but all of our profiles will sort of look similar. You know, obviously life is easier if you did go to IIT or like some top university, right? But otherwise, like, the profile seems to get very similar unless you have those sort of projects with you. So if you're applying for a machine learning or a data science sort of a role, my recommendation to you will be, first of all, for us to learn machine learning, data science, or web development, or any sort of these development skills, we need to first make sure that our basics are right. Now, when we want to build these projects, might as well learn, right? Like, because if you learn these, you will be able to build better projects. You will be able to get those internships or jobs later on as well. So how to learn this, right? So you should first focus on your basic programming skills. That's extremely important. Now, you want to do a master's in computer science, right? Like, or master's in some field which will help you get a job, which will require a little bit of programming. If that's something that you plan to do, then I think it's extremely important that you learn basics of programming. I generally suggest that you learn data structures, algorithms as well upfront, right? If you have time, I think you should definitely invest time into learning data structure algorithms, solving a lot of problems, and build that base. Now, as soon as you build that base, now I think you will be ready to sort of get into machine learning, to get into data science, right? If that's the area you want to apply. If you want to apply to software engineering sort of programs, you can move into web development, or you can move into Android development, right? So when you learn these sort of skills, first of all, it will help you in two ways. Your profile gets stronger. When you're learning these, just learning is not enough. We should build projects. And whatever projects we are building, we should deploy them. That means if you're building some machine learning model, deploy it so that you have a link to show. Right? In your profile, you would want to put that link. Hey, I built this project. You can go check it out. I'm not just saying it, I have actually done it. You should go and check it out. So that's why this link is extremely important. So definitely make sure that if you work on a project, you deploy it. There is a link where somebody can go and check it out, right? And then it really will set you apart. Honestly, it's so easy that if we just invest this like 6 to 8 months, we can build an amazing profile, which sadly nobody right now has. Very few people have, right? So if you do put in that effort, your profile will stand out. And it seems like something that everybody should definitely be doing if they do plan to apply uh, for MS admissions, right? So, and now I think one other way to look at this is that, let's say you are in third year, then I think this is what you should do. Like you should learn, you should do like basics of computer science, then learn data science, machine learning, or whatever field you are interested in, and then you sort of make your applications. But if you're in second year and you learn it in second year itself, there are opportunities for you to apply for research internships, right? Two professors. And as Osmo was saying, when you apply to these universities, and if you have any research experience, it's going to add a lot of value. First of all, you have this experience. Secondly, if you have this experience with a good professor, they will give you a letter of recommendation. And that letter of recommendation again puts your profile to a very different level. For example, in my case, I did do a research internship post my second year because I had learned a little bit of computer science, a little bit of programming in my second year. And basically, so I was able to sort of apply and get a good research opportunity, which led to a paper publication as well, which sort of helped me eventually in my admissions. Right. So definitely do work on like getting this skill set will, if you do it early on in your first, second year, that basically means that now you will have time to do sort of research internships as well. That will really impact your application. Even if not that, even if you do this in third year or in fourth year before your applications, it will still set you apart in terms of your application. So it really is important that we learn these skills, have those projects, and we are able to showcase them in our right. So, like for
Just to add,
example,
Ankush,
sure,
just to
yeah,
add,
yeah,
Ankush, so we deal with students every year, and students from India applying for MS Computer Science, data analytics, data science. That's like the 60% of the students. So
mm-hmm.
majority of the students, apply for those programs. So how do you set yourself apart? Ankush made a very, very, very good point that you saying that I want to do data science versus showcasing that look, I have already done a bit myself. That's
Mm-hmm.
how I know that I am good at it. That's how I know that I am genuinely interested in it, therefore I'm applying to your program. So that is a far stronger case. That's far stronger case than just saying that I want to like apply for MS data science. So please understand that Indian students, majority of the students, they go down this path of computer science or data science or analytics or AI ML or whatever. So you guys need to do something extra to set yourself apart if you want to get those admissions. More importantly, if you want to get those scholarships or research assistantships, whatever you call them, right? So I just want to emphasize on this point that your competition is tough, therefore you have to do extra things. And as Ankush was saying, if you like invest some time in it, it's actually not like that that difficult, right? So yeah, Ankush,
Yeah,
over to you.
sure, sure. So yeah, so as Osmo said, right, like you need to realize like thousands of people are applying. Everybody has similar sort of college. Everybody has similar sort of GPA. So what it comes to is who has a little bit higher GRE, right? Like, but if you are able to do this basic sort of work beforehand and build that profile for yourself, it'll really just set yourself apart, right? Like honestly, even if you get like 5 or 10 less in your GRE, but you have all these things, I think it will still put you above people who would have scored higher than you in GRE, just because of the fact that you have something which like majority of the people just don't have, right? And they are looking for people with different sort of experiences, people with different sort of profiles, right? So guys, we'll definitely answer these questions. Just give me 5-10 more minutes, and we'll sort of get to your all the questions that you guys have, right? So okay, now this is one part, right? Like where we are sort of making sure that we get the right admits, and I'm saying that you need to make sure that you have good basics, you are learning, you're building these projects, and once you have these projects, you are able to showcase them well, right? Like all these 3 points are equally important. Right now, I'm sure all of you are working hard and you will get good admits, right? Like once you get that admit, I think you need to not just think short term about getting that admit, right? You also need to realize what is it that you will have to struggle with once you reach, and how can you minimize that upfront so that your life is relatively easy. For example, for me, I was able to get a RA ship or a TA ship post my first quarter itself. That basically meant my MS degree was paid for, right? Whatever like sort of money I spent in my first quarter, I was able to recover that from my internship during the summer. So net, I made couple of India trips, couple of vacations. All of that was sort of covered for me. I didn't have to pay anything from my pocket for everything. Like sort of, I did that 1.5, right? So what I'm trying to tell you from that is, and that was possible because I had these programming skills, right? When I went, I had this programming skill that basically meant that I was able to get an RA shoot. Internship is one point, right? That is something that will definitely require you to have good programming. Like when I applied for RA-ship, I had to give interviews to a professor, to that professor's PhD students who asked me questions about linked lists, about different data structures, about a little bit of machine learning, and I had to answer those questions. And luckily, I had some knowledge which I was able to, because of which I was able to answer. And again, you need to realize if you do this, and once you land into university, if majority of people around you have not done this and you have done this, it will open up a lot of gates for you. It will open up a lot of doors for you to sort of get these research grants or like assistantships, as well as I said, it will really help you in your internships. These companies are looking for talent, and again, the sad point is it's extremely hard to find talent. So if you work hard right now, it will definitely help you at that time to get those internships as well. If you have an admit already, first of all, congratulations. And if you have that if you have that admit already, definitely you should work on these skills right now before you reach your university. I know you don't want to work hard right now. You have worked hard. Now you want to chill before you reach your college. But I'm telling you, it does not take a lot of effort. It might take like 15 hours of your week, right? Like, and if you can spare that much time, if you're not doing anything else, or even if you're working somewhere, if you take out like maybe 8 to 10 hours a week, I think it'll really help you once you reach getting that internship. For example, I got my final offer, job offer, as a PPO from my internship, right? And getting a PPO is far easier because you now have 3 months to prove yourself. You don't just have like those 3-4 hours of interviews. You have 3 months to prove yourself. So you can, like, even if you don't do well in the first month, you can still cover up and work hard and complete it in the last 2 months. So getting that internship really sets everything well for you. Okay. And I think it's not that everybody at Stanford had internship. It's not that everybody at Stanford had a RA ship or a TA ship. And that's what I'm talking about Stanford, right? Like if you go a little further to like, let's say a university which will be ranked like 20, 25 or like maybe 30 to 40, you will find that even lesser people will be getting internship or getting RA ship or TA ship. That doesn't mean that it will be very hard for you. You need to realize that just means that you will not have that fierce competition around you to get those assistantship. And if you put in, most of the people are not putting in that effort, right? If you put that effort, it will be very easy for you to sort of be at the front of the line when you sort of start applying to your professors for RA-ship, TA-ship, or when you start applying for internships to companies coming to your campus. Right. So perfect. So I hope this has been helpful and you sort of realize why this is important before admit as well as post admit. Ozma would like to sort of start taking questions, and I think
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Okay, so guys will definitely appreciate a lot of questions. Would love to answer as many as possible. Okay. So Kunal is saying, what is the credibility of Coursera specialization certificate for doing MS in USA? So Kunal, see, one simple thing is that most of the people would not have done it. So if you do anything specific, it will definitely help you out, right? So if you do this Coursera specialization, it will help you out because it'll put your profile a little above everybody around you. That being said, my recommendation to you would be to make sure that you actually learn. So whatever you do, right? Like whether it is Coursera, whether it is some other place, you make sure that you actually learn and you build those projects. That's really going to be extremely powerful. That's going to be powerful for your admit. That's going to be powerful when you apply for internship as well, and you will showcase that you had built this project earlier, right? And if you have those links and somebody can actually go and see, I can tell you, like, people will go click on those links. Even for admits, even for internship, if you have in your resume or in your profile overall, people will click on it and see what have you actually done, right? So rather than like worrying about getting a certificate, I think you should be more worried about, I need to make sure I learn and I need to make sure that I have the right projects. Right? These are sort of two things that you need to make sure. Okay.
Ankush, there is some people have their hands up also. So if you want, you
Sure.
can enable them to ask you the question directly. That might be a bit more interactive, maybe.
Okay. Okay. Sure. I'll definitely do that. I'm just picking up one or two more questions. So Prashad is asking, by links, do I mean GitHub links? So Prashad, this can be a GitHub link. What I really meant is that why don't you go ahead and deploy your project? That means like maybe on AWS, or you'll find like 10 other ways that you don't have to do a lot of work, 10 different services. For example, if you're working on a web development project, front-end web development project, you can just deploy it on Firebase, right? Uh, and if you're working on a machine learning model, build a small Python sort of a backend and deploy your machine learning model so that it's actually available from a website, right? I want to see what you have done in action. GitHub will help, but sort of it will be very limited in terms of what I'm actually suggesting. Right. So, perfect. Great question from Garima. Garima is saying, what do I suggest for working professionals in terms of profile building, like I mentioned, for second and third year? So, Garima, first of all, let's say if you're working at, not sure where you're working, but let's say if you're working at a TCS Infosys, again, one problem that you will sort of face is there will be a lot of people who will be applying, or like sort of like a company, sort of similar service-based company, right? Like you will find that a lot of people are applying and you will have to set your sort of profile apart. So if you're applying for an analytics degree, do something in analytics. That's the only thing I'm suggesting, right? It doesn't really matter whether there's somebody's in first, second year or somebody's in working somewhere. I'm just saying, if you are already doing that work in your company, amazing, right? Like that's really going to help you because you will be able to say, hey, I have been doing this. Now I want to upskill myself. I want to reach to a different level. That's why I'm applying. That story has to make sense, right? For example, when I applied, my story mostly had operating systems, right? Systems and like that sort of a role, right? So I made that story. That's what I want to do. I went there and I figured out that I like machine learning more. And I ended up doing, so luckily for me, my course was a generic computer science and I could choose post going what I want to do. But when I applied, I had a beautiful story. Hey, in second year, I did this work. In third year, I did this project. In fourth year, I did this. All of that was sort of aligned in terms of operating systems and system sort of role, right? So I was able to build that beautiful story and saying that you guys are doing amazing work in this and I sort of want to apply to you, right? So that story has to make sense. That's it. So even if you're working somewhere, you believe that you want to apply for analytics, but you don't have that experience, my suggestion, please build those skills a little bit. And while you're working on building those skills, make some demonstrable projects that you can put in your profile. I think that's really going to help you out. Okay, let me take a question. Akash, would you like to? So Akash is an attendee, is raising hand. Osman, I'm not sure how to unmute Akash. If that's what you're suggesting. Akash, would you like to ask a question?
Yeah, Akash, you can unmute yourself now.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah, Akash, you are.
So what I'm saying is like I'm a DevOps engineer. I have good experience on DS and others. So like currently I'm preparing for GRE. So like first opening will be starting from September and I guess for the universities, right? So if I start now with Code Ninja and took some course on machine learning because I want to pursue machine learning. So will I be able by September and to display some projects if I start from June?
Right. So June, July, August, September, right? So it's like 4 months. I think that's, see, it's sort of the program, like somebody who puts in a lot of effort will be able to finish in 2 months, right?
Okay.
I think 3 months is something, 3.5 months is something that I believe anybody putting in like 10, 12 hours should be able to do it. On the website, we sort of say like 4.5, 5 months, but that is more from
Yeah,
the
I
perspective that,
saw the website like it's 4 to 6
yeah.
months. Yeah.
Yeah, so that basically means that you will have course access for that time, but like it's very slowed down. Like easily somebody will be able to do it in 3 months.
Okay,
I don't
so
think that's
self-paced videos.
right. So the course is structured in a way. Yeah, so I think I should talk about that. Let me quickly give you an overview on that. Right. So the machine learning course is actually taught by me. Almost like I think 95% of the course is taught by me. So what basically that means is that I have recorded content, but along with that, there are a lot of projects that you will have to work upon while you are learning this content. And if you are, for example, in case of machine learning, the way I'll be teaching is we will first talk about what sort of problem we want to solve and what sort of algorithm might work for this. And then we try to understand why do we need another algorithm. Then we talk about some specific algorithm, how that solves our problem. We understand the math behind it. We write that algorithm ourselves. We build that code ourselves in Python. And then we understand if we want to use an existing library, how can we use that existing library, right? So we understand why we need it. Then we understand what does the map look like, then we build the code ourselves. Then the last point is how to use the inbuilt library. From then on, we will just use the internal library because that's what is something that we should do. But I think it's extremely important that we understand not just how to use it, but what exactly it means that this algorithm is something, what all is happening behind the scenes is also very important, right? And you will have multiple projects that you'll be working on. And one thing that really works with us is that we have almost 400 teaching assistants who are available to help out the current students in their studies. That means if you have a doubt, you raise that doubt. And majority of the, like during the whole day, like if you ask at 3 o'clock in the night, you might have to wait for a little longer. But majority of the during the day, like within half an hour, 45 minutes, somebody will respond and solve your doubt, right?
So it depends on me how soon I complete it, right?
So yeah, absolutely. So we will give you some timelines that you should like complete this much in first week, this much in second week. But if you complete the first week work, second week automatically opens up. You can learn the second week. Once you complete the second week, third week opens up. By otherwise, like those weeks are locked. But as soon as you complete first week, second week automatically will open up.
Thank you.
Right. Perfect. So okay. Right. So Sharon in the chat is asking, I want to do MS in data science. Should I learn DSA in Python and Java? Even though I'm well versed with both of these programming languages, I'm working with Python language for building my data science need. I don't think you need to do both. I think like if you want to do data science, you can stick to Python. Should you learn DSA? You should learn DSA. DSA means data structures and algorithms, right? You should definitely learn DSA because the reality is when you apply for internships or jobs, they focus far more on your fundamentals, on your foundation skills rather than the advanced skills. So if you're applying for, let's say, a software engineer who will be doing web development, they will not even ask you anything about web development. They are going to focus completely on your data algorithm skills. But if you apply to be a data scientist, They will check your data science skills, your machine learning skills, your data analytics skills, but they will also check your data structure algorithm skills. So I think having a strong foundation in DSA is extremely important, extremely important. And it will always help you being a better data scientist as well, because once you build this foundation, you will not be worried about, when you're doing data science, you will not be worried about, hey, how will I write code for this? That is something that you would know. What you will be worried about is, hey, in this problem, which algorithm will work better? Does it make sense for us to use this algorithm or this algorithm, right? Like, you are focusing on the real thing. Otherwise, you will just be focused on worrying about, like, how will I write code for this? Will this work fast enough or not, right? These sort of things that you will be worried about. Okay. Right. So can we unmute Harsha, please? Let's try to answer Harsha's question.
Sure. I'll do it.
Hi, Harsha. Would you like to ask a question?
Yeah, hi, Ankush. How are you doing? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, like what kind of programming languages and algorithms and data structure courses that are the concepts that a master student should have before going to masters? Like what kind of language? Particularly people say Python is easy, Java, learn it Java because it can make applications, something like what's your perspective on this?
So what role, what sort of program will you be applying for?
I'm applying for Masters in Computer Science in general,
Right.
and I'll be doing
Right.
software engineering specialization.
Okay. Perfect. So that is helpful, right? So first of all, we should not learn languages, right? We should learn one language and be really good at it. And we should be open to switching language whenever needed, right?
Okay.
So for example, if you're not going into data science, you're applying for MSCS, I would also recommend that if you, for example, if you already know Python, I would say that's absolutely fine. Just go ahead and keep working on Python. But if you will tell me, hey, I have not started or I'm doing a little bit of Java, do I need to move to Python? Absolutely not. And if you're just starting, I would also recommend let's just go with Java or maybe C++, but let's not go with Python if you don't plan to be in data science. And just because majority of the companies, when you are applying for software engineering, they will be okay with you using C++, Java or Python. But there will be few companies who would prefer that you write code in C++ or Java. Either of these are generally absolutely fine. Python, very few companies will not be okay with. But if you're in data science, I would definitely recommend that you should work with Python, because that's what most of the work in your university is going to be with as well. So yeah, it sort of depends on that. But in your case, I do think that you should sort of, if you have to make a choice now, you should go ahead and work along with Java. In terms of skill set, DSA, data structure algorithm, is going to be extremely helpful. It will make your life easy from your courses perspective, as well as your internship, your job interviews are going to focus primarily on your data structure algorithm skills. I know it sounds sad that even after doing masters, that's what they're going to focus upon, but that is the reality, and we need to sort of be really good at that.
Yeah.
Right. And if you do work upon a little bit of web development, build some projects, I think it's really going to be helpful from that perspective as well.
Yes, that's helpful. Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Right. So Hitanshu is saying, I have done various projects in AI and ML, and I'm doing an internship in the same as well, but I lack something on the research side. I don't have any paper published or any internships in research side. Will that be a big negative? So Hitanshu, first of all, majority of the people will not have a research internship, right? Majority of the people will not have worked upon AI ML projects as well, right? So now it's not about when you have done this. Now, if you do research work or not, that will just improve your profile, right? So you might not be able to, like, if you can get into, let's say, a university ranked X, if you do research work as well, you will get a little better than that, right? That's about it. But what you have done, if you have good projects, I think that's amazing. That's good enough. So let's not worry about what we don't have. If we can achieve that now, we should try and do that. Otherwise, I think it's absolutely fine. It's having a research work is a big positive, but it's not that big a negative, right? By default, most of the people just don't have it. That's absolutely okay. Okay, guys, I'm pretty sure that we'll not be able to answer. Okay, I think most of the questions are from somebody called Arjun. Arjun would request you to wait. I'll get to you for sure. So, Maharishi is saying that is learning R language helpful if I want to apply for MS and DS? I think R or Python either is absolutely okay. Generally, universities, professors work with R. Generally, industry works more with Python, right? So either of them are fine. But like, I think if I had to make a choice, I'll go with Python, but either is fine, right? So Anak Srivastav is saying, I'm in third year and I want to go into analytics for MS. What courses and subjects should I learn to prepare for it? So if you're talking about Coding Ninja's courses, first of all, I do feel that you are going into analytics, right? Like, so learn basics of programming. I think it's going to be helpful. You should definitely go with Python. You don't have to go with any other language. I think you learn Python well. It's always going to help you in the longer run. For analytics, you need to work on your SQL skills. So for example, the data science course at Coding Ninjas goes into machine learning as well. But along with machine learning, we use Tableau, which is like a data visualization tool, which is extremely important for anybody in analytics, right? Like either knowing Tableau, Power BI, Metabase, right? Like some sort of visualization tool is extremely important for you to know, and you need to get really good in SQL. That's what you need to do. Right, so at Coding Ninjas, I think you can definitely explore the Python program and the data science program. I think both of them will be very helpful for you. So Arjun is saying for getting a software testing job, you should know what kind of coding knowledge should I know. Arjun, I think that's very depends a lot on software testing, what type of role, because some companies, I mean, like testing means manual testing, right? Like, so you don't need to have any sort of programming skills. At some companies, you will have to know a little bit of automation so that you are able to write those tests, right? So I think Java would be a really good choice from that perspective. Okay. Okay, so seems like Sharan has written a long message. Let me definitely try to answer that. So Sharan is saying, Sharan is a 6th semester BTech student. Oh, he's already enrolled in Coding Ninja's course. And he feels like there are a lot of things and not a lot of time. Should I focus on? Placements are coming, don't have projects. Okay, Sharansh, I think first of all, see, the problem is that if you're focused on placements as well as MS and as well as a lot of other things in your final year, things can get a little tricky. I would want you to sort of, instead of doing everything right now, right, try to break it up. If you feel like a couple of months later you have to work on your placements and that's extremely important for you, I would suggest focus on that first. If you feel like, no, that's not that important for me, I have to go for MS, focus on that first. And if you want to focus on placements, get a job and then you can focus on your MS application. Might mean that you'll not be able to apply this year, you might have to apply next year, or the other way around, right? Like, so please try to like divide your efforts and don't try to do too many things at one time, right? I hope this was helpful. I'm sorry if I couldn't answer that, but you can feel free to reach out to me outside as well, and I'll be happy. Can we unmute venue? Venue, sorry. Can we unmute venue?
Sure. I'll do it. Yeah, when you're good to go.
Hello, hi, I'm audible.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a customer service job right now, but from the last 1 year, like I'm planning for my master's, and in the last 3 to 4 months, I am learning data science and machine learning from internet. So what's my concern right now is, not concern, like I'm just planning for Jan intake. And from last few weeks, I'm thinking that having a good profile is right now is very much important, and so that I can invest 6 to 7 months right now, and skip my intake for next year September, rather than rushing for Jan's intake, so that in this meantime of 1 year I can build my profile, so that
Mhm.
can ease me in once I get into the university.
Mhm.
I'm
Sure.
bit of dilemma, like whether to rush with the Jan and not getting my profile right, or go with the next year September and getting good on my basics and work on projects and everything.
Right. So, first of all, Venu, I think this is a very, very personal choice that you need to sort of make. But I think the way you said it, it's very clear that you do want to wait for September and get your profile right and get into a good university rather than making a compromise now. That's
Yeah.
what I sort of felt from the way you said it, right? And I think you should just, if you feel like that, I think that that would be the right choice in the sense that you will have the right profile, you will get to the best place. It looks like you might not be like the current role that you are in. You might not be enjoying it that much. You want to get into a better role, so you might as well take a little bit more time and make sure that you get to a good place that you're proud of, that you really enjoy working at, right? Like so, I think you sort of do want to do this, and I think if it helps, I do agree that that will be the right choice if you feel that it'll get you to a better place,
Okay. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Vanshika is saying, I have a question with respect to field. There are a lot of opportunities post masters for data science, machine learning. How is the job opportunity for cybersecurity? Is it worth to go for masters in cybersecurity? So Vanshika, first of all, I think everybody is just talking about data science, machine learning. That's why we hear a lot of opportunities in data science, machine learning, but that's not really like it's not true that we don't have opportunities in other fields, right? Now, if we talk about specifically in cybersecurity, unless you have experience of working in cybersecurity, unless you have worked in it, my recommendation to you will not be to go into something that specific, right? For your masters, what if you don't enjoy it as much, right? What if that is something that you don't really enjoy that much? If you've done it already, perfect. If you're sure about it, absolutely go for it, right? If you are not sure, my recommendation, go for a master's in computer science, a generic program, right? And if you go into a generic program, you can decide to go into different fields. You can decide to become a web developer. You can decide to go into mobile development. You can decide to go into machine learning. You can decide to go into like cybersecurity as well, right? So if you are absolutely sure, and that's true for data science, machine learning programs as well. If you are absolutely sure you want to go into data science, it does make sense to go into a specialized program. If you're not that sure, I think you should go with a machine learning, go with a computer science masters, and then sort of decide where you want to go from there. Okay. Okay. Perfect. So Prashad is asking, will making blogs be helpful? Prashad, if these are like insightful blogs and you feel that's something that will see, very likely this whatever you say in your application has to sort of, now you saying that you write blogs might not be good enough. You saying that, hey, I write a blog which 10,000 people follow or 10,000 people do something about that, or right, like, or I've been quoted by something or something, right? Like, then that'll be great. The good part about project is that it's a very easy link that somebody can click on and see, right? Like nobody from the admission committee is going to read your blog to judge you how good a writer you are, right? That's not something that's really going to happen, exactly, right? So yeah, so if you write blogs which have amazing sort of following, which is basically for high quality content, right? Like it's not like you're an influencer, but more from a perspective of that it's a high quality content quoted by some like sort of places, then I think it's going to be helpful. Otherwise, not that much. Great question from Suryakant, right? So Suryakant is saying, if I have to work in industry after my master's in ML, will research papers still help in admissions, right? So see, the sad reality is that most of the people want to do a job after their MS. They don't want to do research. Very few people want to do that. But the universities want you to do research, right? They want you to move to do a PhD as well. But most of the people just don't do that. But they still judge you on your research work, right? Similarly, like when you apply to a company, they judge you on your data structure algorithm skills. They do not make you write data structure algorithm code post that. They will have to get you to, they will get you to sort of work on web development projects, Android projects, and all that, right? So that's something that you will have to do. But it's just that that's what they care about at the time of admission, and you will have to work on that. So even if you want to work on industry post that, that's absolutely okay. And honestly, in your application, if you say this is exact, like if you say that I want to do research, that actually sounds better to these people compared to you saying that I want to like go and work in industry. Okay, guys, I'll just take like 3 more questions, and I'll unmute few people to basically do that. Prashant, can you please unmute Sanchit?
Yeah, hi sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, Sanchit, you are.
Yeah, actually, sir, my question is that it's a pretty long question that uh, I'm in a first year, and how many programming languages do we need to learn, and how to proceed? Like I've studied Java till my 12th, and then how to proceed further? In our college, people seniors used to tell that you should have to first master it and started doing projects on it, then you have to switch to Python. And if you want to go for ML and masters in ML or AI, something like that.
Sure. So first of all, as I said earlier, you do not have to learn languages. You should learn one language. If you like Java, just continue working with Java, right? The day you decide I want to move to data science, then you will have to learn Python. And honestly, it will not take you more than a week if your Java is good. If you've done enough programming with Java, it will be absolutely okay. If I had to define a path for you, first of all, work on Java, get amazing at problem solving and data structure algorithms. Write a lot of
Okay,
code,
sir.
right? Write a lot of code. Don't worry about C++. Don't worry about Python. Work on your data structure algorithm skills, right? Learn
Okay,
that.
sir.
Once you're done with that, then learn some sort of development. That can be web development. That can be, you can decide to go into machine learning as well. And at that time, you might have to switch language based upon what you want to do then. In first year,
Okay.
how do you know that you want to be in data science machine learning? Please do not go by that everybody around you wants to do that, so that's why you want to do it as well, right? You're in first year, explore a little bit, learn a little bit of machine learning, learn a little bit of web development, you will realize what you like more. There are jobs in all of these. If you get good in web development, you will have enough jobs. If you get good in machine learning, you will have enough jobs, right? So you just need to become really good at one of these things and you'll be absolutely fine. Okay, perfect.
Okay,
So
sir.
yeah, thank you, Sanjay. So there are a couple of questions in the chat, which I think I would like to definitely take. Somebody in mechanical wanting to move to CS, somebody in electronics looking to move into data science, right? Or some other switch of that type, right? So see, guys, first of all, if that's what you want to do, you will have to prove more than people who are in CS. It becomes even far more important for you to sort of define that well for yourself. See, most of the people abroad will not really understand that you got some rank and you wanted to get into a better university, so you decided to go into mechanical, whereas you really want to do computer science, right? So if you have made that mistake and you realize that you want to do computer science, then what did you do about that for 4 years? Did you learn computer science? Did you build projects in that? Did you do research work with professors in computer science department? Are your letter of recommendation coming from people in mechanical department or from people in computer science department? So you need to make sure that you build your computer science portfolio, computer science sort of a profile to get a good admit into computer science department, right? or data science department or whatever, right? So you just need to make sure that you work that extra hard. When I talk about placement jobs, I always tell it does not matter whether you're from computer science or from any other department. But sadly, when you are applying for masters, it will matter that you're from a different branch, and you will have to work at that extra bit to prove that, hey, I know I did my 4 years in mechanical, but I sort of realized that's not what I want to do. So I spent that extra time to learn computer science, and now I want your help in the remaining journey for me to be an amazing computer scientist, right? So that's something that you will have to work on. So Ashish is asking, do coding ninjas provide hands-on projects, or which helps in building CV, or it's just course-based? It's everything that we do. For example, the machine learning course will have 8 to 9 projects. 6, 7 will be smaller projects which you have to learn, like which you are doing while learning. Couple of them will be large projects which you will do at towards the end. Web development, you will get like 5 amazing projects, right? So a lot of projects in all of our courses. That's not something that you have to worry about. In data structural algorithms, you can't really build projects using just data structural algorithms, but you will be solving close to 350 problems. You'll be writing code for them, right, to make sure that you actually learn data structural algorithms really well, right? That's how we do. Guys, I think we are running out of time. We actually ran out of time a long time back, but I think we'd like to stop here. I hope I was able to answer most of your questions. I'm really sorry if I've not been able to answer a few of them. Feel free to reach out to me. I'll leave my email ID in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer any further questions that you guys have. Really sorry, can't do it right now. So here is my email ID. Please feel free to reach out. I hope this was helpful. This session was helpful. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Ankush, for doing this. Do you have any socials that you want to plug in here? Any Twitter, any LinkedIn that you want to push? Or just email ID is fine?
I think email ID is fine. Just give me 1 second. Let me get my LinkedIn profile link. Anybody can reach out to me there as well.
Sure. Meanwhile, I just want to let everyone know that the recording of this webinar will be uploaded on our YouTube channel. You can just go on YouTube, search Jamboree Education, and you will find the recording. Yeah. I'll just plug in the link myself.
Yeah. Sorry, I just sent it. I think everybody should be able to see it now. Guys, as we were talking about, like if you want to explore Coding Ninjas courses, feel free to do that. And if you have any questions around that as well, just feel free to reach out to us. Thank you so much. Thank you, Prashant.
Thank you, Ankush. Yeah. Guys, if you have any questions for us, just leave your contact details and someone from our team will get in touch with you. The recording will be available on our YouTube channel. I've posted the link. You can fetch it from there. And the schedule of our upcoming webinars is also available on our website, which is jamboreeindia.com/webinars. And there you can find the recording of previously held webinars on similar topics. The webinar will be live for a couple of more moments. If you want to just drop in your numbers so that we can get in touch with you. Have a great weekend and just stay safe. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone.